This is a video about how to take a pre-tracked camera and mirror image it left and right. This is sort of common because sometimes you'll track a plate and then, in an action sequence like this, they'll change their idea about to whether they want to go from left to right. So for this one, it's going from right to left, but in the finished one, they want it to go from left to right, sort of like in this version right here. So it's slightly tricky about how to do this. And so what you do is you take your camera and all your other animated geometry, including the car and everything here, and you group it. So it's very important that you just group it, because what's happening is that it's setting the pivot at the origin when we hit group. And then let me just call this, say, mirror group. And then you scale it in -1x. Do not scale it in y and do not scale it at z. So that's just a convention. That's an x. Nothing can go wrong if you always do it that way. So everything's got mirror imaged. So the only problem we have is that the camera will be a little bit wonky here. So what we'll do is that we'll copy the camera, we'll duplicate it, call this mirror, okay, and then we'll point constrain it, we'll parent constrain it here. So notice it got a scale -1 there. We have to get rid of that. We've got to put that back to 1. So now if we look at the camera, they're locked together except for they're flipped against one another here. So then there's a parent constraint, and because it flipped 180, we can put 180 here on the RX, and now they're together. Now the way I did this duplicate, we have to make sure that's going to copy any animated focal length over here, and then also copy over the image plane. So this one here we don't have an image plane for yet. So I'll give it an image plane. And we'll change its depth. And so now it's properly imaged, mirror imaged here. I've got one or two things wrong on the lineup there, but this is basically correct here. And then so then these would have to be dragged out afterwards, and then maybe a freeze transfer or something, because these will have to be rebaked because they will have like a -1x scale factor, but this camera here could be baked when we're done. Now the other thing is that when you do a mirror image, if you're doing stereo, you not only have to mirror image the left and right eyes, but you also have to swap the left and right eyes. And if you don't, the stereo effect will be inverted. Near objects will appear far, and far objects will appear near. The other thing you have to do when you do mirror image is that the in equalizer, the U value has to be inverted in polarity. So we see here that U is asymmetrical, and it is here as well. So any of these U values, whatever value it has, you just give it a negative sign here and here, and so then you'll render out a new D-lens, a new undistorted, unwrapped plate with these values. So, and if you've got animated distortion, you just go to the curve editor and you would put in -1. You'd invert the polarity of any of these curves right here with transform curves, and you do I think a factor of -1 I think would do the job.